All right, we are standing here with Clemson Athletic Director Dan Radakovich from Amelia Island. Dan was just telling us he's been here since 2006.
Not continuously.
Not continuously. Although you wouldn't mind, right?
No, this is a beautiful place, Robert. It sure is.
Oh, it's a great place. I think this is our 5th year coming down covering the event. Obviously, a lot of excitement this summer, or this, I guess, early summer about the ACC network. Let's start off talking a little bit about that. I mean, what's the excitement in the athletic department about the new network?
Well, we've done an awful lot of work, Rick Bagby and his staff, in preparing us to be a full partner and do all the broadcasts associated with the ACC network. A number of the sports and their broadcasts will come right out of Jervey, and we are in a great position from a equipment perspective, from a technical perspective. We're ready to go and just be able to feed those into the ACC network for those games that they require us or will ask us to put on the network.
What have you heard or anything you can talk about as far as the adoption? What's the network folks at ESPN telling you about how that's going?
Well, that's part of this week. We'll have some discussions with the folks at ESPN. They've done this before in a couple of different locations, so how the distribution goes out and timing and all of those things, those are one of the pieces we leave to the experts.
All right, so we'll check back again later in the week on that. At this point, do you have any feel at all for what kind of additional revenue that's going to bring to Clemson?
It's really hard to tell. I think that one of the things that has been very clear from ESPN and our partner is that there's great excitement about the ACC network throughout all the various geographic footprints of the league, and it is a big geographic footprint. So we're excited about that, and we want to make sure that we hold our end of the bargain and make sure that we're delivering quality product so that the network can start off in a great position and we can reap some of the rewards. Again, not knowing what those might be yet, but I know that ESPN and they are very excited about where we are as it relates to this particular venture. And certainly Clemson's in a big position because we're going to be the first live production. Our game against Georgia Tech.
It'd be hard for them to script it any better with you guys being the national champs, first game. ACC also owns the basketball national championship. Pretty good way to roll the network out.
Oh, no question. And, this is 2 times in 3 years where we've had the football and basketball national champions. So throw in a baseball national championship and another basketball in there. It's been quite a good 5 years for the Atlantic Coast Conference. So we're very proud and pleased to be a member.
One of the topics I think you guys are also going to talk a little bit about this week is the home for the ACC baseball tournament going forward. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Durham's got some conflicts now with the International League. We understand that both Greenville and Myrtle Beach got visits recently, that they're 2 cities that are being considered. How hard, obviously, with Clemson being in South Carolina, how hard do you help push for them to bring the tournament to the Palmetto State?
Well, we certainly advocate for it, no question about it. And that is another one of the issues that we'll hit before we depart here on Thursday. We'll get some information on that. And I would think that both of those places are in great spots as it relates to their bids. So we don't know all the details of that yet, but we'll learn that this week.
All right, just some general state of the athletic program. We typically do that this time of year with you. How do you feel about the overall athletic department at this point?
Well, I'm very proud of all the work of our coaches and student athletes. I mean, we had an incredible academic performance rate of our student athletes. We had, again, another one of the years where we had 6 of our programs become programs of merit. Certainly on the field, football did an incredible job. Our women's basketball program seems to have turned the corner under Amanda. It was a tough year in men's basketball just because of how close in some of those games. But I have great faith in Brad, and they're going to go to Italy and represent the United States at the World University Games. So that's really a positive. We're on the search now for a men's tennis coach, and I will tell you that it has just blown me away the number of people that have been interested in the program. So we're going to take that. We're going to take that to the next step here in the coming weeks. And baseball, it's been God, we started out so well, and Monty and the guys hit a little bit of a pothole, but there's still life. We have a great 3-game series coming up with Wake Forest and then the ACC tournament. So looking forward to that. And then this time next year, we'll be able to talk about softball as well. And John Rittman and his staff have been able to do a really, really good job of formulating that team, and we have the stadium under construction right now. So that's a real positive. On the facility front, IPTE, their building is moving along. We're now in the final schematic drawings for our soccer building that'll go down near the practice area, and then certainly softball we talked about. So a lot of things going on. We don't rest. There's no question about that.
You mentioned baseball, and obviously some struggles the last month or so. We're starting to hear some angst on from our members on the board about the state of the program. Have the expectations or the objectives changed for baseball over the last 4 years, or are they still what they were when you brought in Coach Lee?
Oh, they're absolutely the same, and I think he would say that if he was standing here, to be able to get our program, in the high level of the ACC, to make the NCAA tournament, to host a regional, and to move on. It's just been it's been a little bit difficult year. We had some injuries early on to a pitching staff, which kind of forced us to put a lot of young people in. But a lot of people have gotten an awful lot of really valuable playing time this year. So, like I said, we still have some time this year, and then future looks bright.
Obviously, there's some challenges for Clemson in baseball because of what some of the other schools can do. I know you defined the objective when Jack departed of competing for the ACC championships and winning in the NCAA tournament. Obviously, your definition of winning in the NCAA tournament, is that winning a regional, or what does that mean?
Well, it's going as far as you can go. I mean, there are some teams that they overachieve and they don't quite hit that winning number. Are you progressing? Are you continuing to get better? Is the foundation positive? That's really one of the criteria that you look at. And I still feel great about Monty, his staff, and the young people that are in there playing day to day for the Tigers.
The common market is one thing that helped Clemson for a little bit and is now no longer available. How much does that hurt the program going forward? And how do you try to replace that with something else to help the program?
We continue to talk to the institution about different ways of working through financial aid. It's not just baseball; it's every equivalency sport. So you would look at men's soccer and track and men's tennis and men's golf as well. So it's something that we had for a little while. We moved that to the side, but we continue to have a small working group that is dealing with the institution to try to look to even that playing field as much as we can. It's not something that can be done overnight, but we do have people working on that right now.
Because of those challenges, is it fair for the fans to still have the same expectations that they used to for Clemson baseball? Omaha's still on the hat. Go to Omaha every few years, or go to super regionals, or should those expectations change because of some of the challenges?
I don't know that expectations will ever change. You can't really legislate expectation and what our fans have, and they should have a high expectation. We have a great ballpark. We have great tradition. We live in a talent-rich area. But there are a number of programs all over the country, if you kind of take a step back and look and see, maybe they've been traditional powers and things have kind of reset a little bit. But again, I feel real comfortable as to where we are with our baseball program. Need to get a few more wins, and the first person who would tell you that's Monty.
Last question for you, Dan. Really appreciate your time. What do you hope to get accomplished this week coming down here to the spring meetings?
I think it's really good to have some wider discussions with your colleagues that you don't get to see each and every day, whether it's about the transfer portal, whether it's about waiver guidelines, where do we need to go with championships and things here within the conference. We have a number of new members of the management team inside the conference, so it'll be good to meet them and hear what they would like to see as their vision within the league. But it's just a good time to be able to share ideas, because while we're all at different schools, a lot of times our challenges are similar.
Great. Thank you very much, Dan. We're going to let you go hit lunch.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.